Hey y'all. I know y'all like, what you doing? I got an impromptu. As you can tell, it looked like I did not plan to do this tonight because I didn't. But y'all share this live. Like, share, drop some comments, all the things. This is gonna be a blessing tonight because I didn't plan to do this, but it was definitely tied to the kind of day I had today, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So this is for the men. So I'm gonna tell you right now, if you are a man that is married to or in a relationship with a strong-minded, strong-willed woman, especially the strong black woman, you're gonna want to join tonight. Okay. This is gonna be the best conversation you ever heard in your life. So it's like a story time mixed with us talking about these parlays. So this if this is your first time catching me, finding me, following me, however you found me, you were supposed to find me. Okay. So I'm Coach Lauren J. I'm a marriage and relationship coach, and I help couples master the art of living as one. And I'm excited about this because one of the things that happened to me today, well, really today, I've had several really great conversations specifically with men today, which I tend to do. And so I wanted to share this concept, and y'all definitely let me make sure I can see y'all comments. We just talking like we ain't got nothing all fancy smancy, okay? So one of the things that I personally enjoy doing is I love playing sports. I enjoy football. I enjoy basketball. Recently, me and my brother, he got me into betting on the games, and so it's kind of our little fun thing that we get to do. It's kind of our bonding thing, me and my brother. And so now your girl be having to check my parlays. I be able to check my strategy out because I'm mentally agile. So today I was talking with a couple with a husband, and we were just having conversation about like relationships and what it's like being married to a strong black woman. And quite honestly, it ain't easy being married to a strong black woman. If you in a relationship with one or married to one, it is not for the weak. It's not because we're not great people. It's just that we different people. So tonight I'm gonna give you um my strategy. I call it a parlay. So this is gonna be like a 14 leg parlay. Okay. So if you're not one of those people that bet on the game, you may not understand the parlays, but guess what? This word gonna help you regardless. Okay. So we were having a conversation and talking about like love, right? And right now I've got a marriage challenge going on. So click the link in my bio. Make sure that you hop into the marriage challenge. It's a free challenge for couples, and it's helping them go from roommates to soulmates. So I'm gonna give you this free game, and this is actually something that I'll be teaching and talking about in this challenge, and it's about the parlays. Okay, so if you know anything about the gaming, anytime you have multiple legs, and you're betting on multiple games, anything past a single is a parlay. The way you hit the parlay is when whatever you bet it on, when it all hits. Okay. So if one of your parlays don't hit, your money gone. So the parlays are the riskier bets, but they also have higher probability to pay you back, a higher profit margin. A lot of times you'll get profit boosts to bet on multiple games, so like a 4 leg, things like that. So the more games you bet on in one group, the more money you may make. So I was having a conversation with a husband today. We were just kind of talking about marriage and what it's like to um, try to kind of get your wife on the same page with you. And many of you that's on this live right now, if you're on my live right now, it's because you are in a relationship or you married to a strong black woman who sometimes she's hard to deal with. I know you are. I'm trying to give you the cheat code. Tonight, your parlay gonna hit. Okay. So we're talking about this concept. And I brought to him First Corinthians chapter 13. And I was like, look, the thing you got to understand about women, especially those that come from maybe like a broken home, maybe they just didn't see a good relationship, they got daddy issues, or they've been around toxic women, who didn't have good relationships with men. Oftentimes, those women, you have to literally teach them how to love. They really don't know. So a lot of times you see like on social media, people talking about, especially for women, Black women in particular, about like this feminine energy, and they don't know how to tap into their feminine energy. Well, this is why. So whatever you give a woman is what she's going to give you back more times than not. Okay. So this is a leadership conversation, and this is how we're going to land into these parlays. So if you look at First Corinthians chapter 13, it talks about how love is patient, love is kind, love does not envy, love does not boast, love doesn't keep a record of wrong, love is not rude. Okay. So when you're thinking about trying to get her on the same page with you, the thing is, if you see her doing, I don't know, something that she doesn't ordinarily do, like go to the gym. It's the new year. She's been saying she's going to get her body right. You ain't said nothing about her body because why? You ain't trying to hear that. You say anything about her body, and if it ain't what she want to hear, it may go. You may not hit your parlays, okay? So not to go there. However, you hear her say she about to get her body right. She about to do. Okay, cool. And she says she going to the gym. Your thing should be to celebrate that, okay? Not, oh, now you finally going? Abort the mission. So when you go back to how do we get a winning hand? How do we win relationally? Like these are relationship parlays that I'm giving you. How do you win relationally? You got to be able to celebrate what you want to see her doing more. A lot of men, one of their top love languages is words of affirmation. Most men, specifically Black men that are married to or in a relationship with a strong Black woman, one of our weaknesses is words of affirmation. So what I find when I'm working with couples is the husband needs affirmation and the woman don't know how to give it. Because we, in our culture, we give backhanded compliments, right? We don't really give you like a real compliment. We'd be like, oh, you look straight. And if you don't look straight, we quick to rib you about it, right? So we don't really know how to do this thing. And so I have conversations with men all the time about this, and they're like, a lot of times I want my wife to like, say something to me. But anytime she says something, and y'all know this to be true, y'all can drop it in the chat, drop your questions, your thoughts, because I ain't lying. I don't, because you don't want her to know that you think this way. But quite honestly, a lot of times we don't do the best job when it comes to words of affirmation. And women who gonna listen to this live, the number one thing your man needs, love language, most men, is words of affirmation. So men, how do you get her to start loving you in the way that you need and desire love? Well, first thing you got to understand is what brings you into oneness. So this is going to be for my married people. What brings you into oneness? So what brings you into oneness is there's 4 parts of intimacy. There's spiritual, there's emotional, there's intellectual. So anytime one of these 3 are lacking, you won't see it. You won't have physical intimacy. You're going to see a lack in physical intimacy. So that's where you're not going to see yourself scoring high. So if you finding yourself complaining about we ain't making love no more, or you don't touch me no more, anytime there's a gap again in intellectual intimacy, emotional intimacy, or spiritual intimacy, there's going to be a deficit in physical intimacy. So that's the first thing you got to understand. So when you think about why your parlays ain't hitting in the bedroom, when you're thinking about why your parlays ain't hitting when you're trying to get her on the same page with you, The reason your parlays are not hitting is because I guarantee you, either emotionally, intellectually, or spiritually, there's a lack. So you got to first figure out that portion, right? Where are we lacking at? Spiritually, are you praying together? Do you guys go to church? Are y'all reading a devotional together? You got to be able to feed her spiritually if you're going to lead her. A strong woman, you can't lead a strong woman with no plan. Okay, I'm going to tell you that right now. So when I get men who tell me, "Oh, my wife don't submit," where's the plan? Or you created the plan, but you didn't include her. Anytime you create the plan and she's not a part of the planning process, she's not going to be married to the goal like you, because in her mind, this is all about you. You didn't include me. You include me once you done wrote up the plan. That's going your parlay not gonna hit. Again, you got to hit all three to get your payout. So I'm trying to give you the free game, and I'm telling you right now, your wife will. She either, if you show her this live or you tag her in this, or you send it to her DMs, she either go start laughing because she know I ain't lying, or she gonna be like, "Thank God somebody else said it," because I've been telling you this. So I'm giving you the raw, honest cheat code that women, especially strong Black women, are not telling you. Okay, these are facts. So anytime you lack in one of those three areas, you're not gonna hit your parlay. Now, how do you start hitting your parlay? You got to go back to your leadership. Your leadership is connected to love. Even the strong Black woman who act like she don't need nobody, she independent, whatever. The truth of the matter is this: she does need it. And a lot of times it's the strong ones that are really the softer ones. They're the ones that's gonna break down crying first. They're the ones that's gonna try to act hard, but they really not. Like, it's just a defense mechanism. So when she act like she don't need you, or she act like whatever you doing ain't bothering her, she lying. Yes, it is. It is bothering her. It is. She do need it. She don't want to come across as needy, but she absolutely needs whatever it is you trying to give out. Okay. So don't let her fool you with that. So this is how you win at this relational parlay. So think about it like this. Whenever you get frustrated with her, I want you to go to the New Living Translation. This is where you gonna win. I'm telling you, right? If you implement this, whatever area in your marriage or your relationship that you are lacking in, you're going to. This is a guarantee win. So you go to 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4, where you understand, where God explains to us what love is, right? So first thing, love is patient. You got to identify, are you patient? How often are you patient? That's number one, because you're going to have to be patient. Are you kind? Whenever something's not going right, are you the first person to jump on her about it? Are you the one that always got something to say? How do you handle her, especially when she makes the mistake, right? Because again, it's a leadership issue. Whatever you pour into her is what she's going to give you. So you want to weigh yourself against these areas. Then love is not jealous. So do you come across as jealous sometimes? What does that look like? And listen, you ain't got to tell me. This inventory for you, okay? Because I'm trying to help you win. So you want to look at that. How do I show up there? It also says that love is not jealous, it's not boastful, and it's not proud. So you got to be able to check yourself. Are there moments when she's not doing that great and you boasting about when you are? Wrong hand to play. That's gonna make sure your parlays don't hit. That's gonna make sure that your receiver gonna get 24 yards when you needed 25. Okay, it's not gonna make. Then the next thing, and that love is not rude. So think about your response. With a woman, your words carry power, but your tone keeps receipts. She gonna remember how you said it. So that argument that you keep having with her about what you said, and you like, well, I didn't mean it that way. It ain't what you meant. It's how you said it. Okay. I'm not telling you got to walk on eggshells, but what I am telling you is that if you're trying to win your parlay, you better have your strategy need to be a little different than what it's been. If you ain't been winning, if you ain't been scoring, you ain't been getting no payouts, this is why, okay? So thinking about that, how's your tone? A soft tone turns away wrath. Then you also have to understand that the other thing love doesn't do is it does not demand its own way. A lot of men that I work with, that I coach and I support, one of the issues that comes up a lot is she doesn't want to submit. It's not always that she doesn't want to submit. It's the way that you're asking it. And a lot of times, especially, and I'm going to speak specifically for Black people, the reason in our Black marriages and our relationships we struggle with this is because we grew up under the demand and command era. Our parents didn't ask you questions. We didn't seek, hey, how are you feeling about this? No, you ain't get that. You got, go sit your tail down. Stop playing with me. You want to get your tail whipped? You got command and demand. That doesn't work in your relationship. And if she grew up in that kind of household, what was traumatizing her, triggering to her, I'm gonna tell you now, if you married to the strong Black woman, that is not, your parlay not gonna hit. It's not gonna hit. Because again, love is not demanding, right? It's not a dictatorship, it's a partnership. And so you got to understand that in a partnership, your partner likes to be accounted for. And if your partner is not being accounted for, then she's going to automatically feel like she does not matter. So the things that you hear her complaining about, like, oh, you finally got time for me. Baby, I always got time for you. No, you don't. You know why? Because in her mind, when you didn't check and say, hey, I'm going to go get drinks tonight or go to the cigar spot with so-and-so, when you didn't check in with her and say, hey, babe, I was thinking about doing this. How would you feel? Listen, man, listen, I'm telling you the cheat code. Telling you the cheat code on how to win these parlays. You're going to need to say to her, this is, if you don't get nothing else from what I said, this is the top one you need to remember. How would you feel? Let me tell you why you want to ask her, how would you feel? Because women move off of emotion a lot. Most women, they move off of emotion. And because they move off of emotion, if they have not learned how to regulate their nervous system and be able to articulate when they're overwhelmed, when they feel exhausted, when their nervous system is too, you gonna catch the attitude you've been catching. I'm trying to help you because she is not gonna explain any of this to you. I'm trying to help you. So I'm telling you, you want to ask her how she would feel, because if you ask her how she would feel, you're gonna get the real answer. If you just tell her, hey babe, I'm gonna be home closer to like 9 o'clock, I'm about to go over here, and you didn't check for her, prepare for your parlay not to hit. Prepare for your parlay next round, you not getting a 33% profit boost added to your account. Okay. This is not a no sweat bet. Okay. So that's gonna be the key. The reason, and it's not about you asking permission. And I hate when people do that. I mean, you gotta ask, listen, only toxic men think that it's asking permission. Men that have great leadership characteristics, they account for the team because they understand that they are only as strong as the team, and that a good leader and a good CEO always understands their business, and understanding your business comes with understanding accounting. So if you are not accounting for your partner, then you don't understand your business. And that is why you cannot seem to understand why she's mad with you, why she's frustrated with you, why she's not talking to you, why she's not having sex with you, why she's not affirming you, because you're not accounting. That is the cheat code. The cheat code is to account. And I don't mean in no manipulative type of way where you gaslight. I mean in the way where you genuinely care, because people can tell if you care or not, or if you check in the box, especially her. And the reason she can is because if you're sleeping with her, y'all already in oneness. She's already bone of your bone and flesh of your flesh. So a lot of the energies that she gives back to you is oftentimes what you done gave to her. And if you don't think that's the truth, I'll roll you to Matthew chapter 7, verse 1. Like, this is a real thing. It's all biblical. So I'm not telling you anything that ain't biblical. I'm just telling you how to use it to apply it to your life so you can hit your parlays. Okay. So accounting, very huge. The next thing, it is not irritable. So if your body language, Your body language means a lot because women feed off energy and they pay attention to nonverbal cues. So even though you may have done it with her, the way you decided to get off that couch and do it with her, that right there is going to make sure your parlays do not hit. That is when you're going to get 3 out of the 4 of your parlays and you're not getting a payout. That is how you don't get a payout. Okay. I want you to get your payout. So, oh, my camera's trying to act crazy. Hold on. All right, there we go. So you want to make sure you're able to get your payout. Okay. The worst thing in the whole wide world is to have a 9-leg parlay and 8 hit and 1 don't. That is the worst, especially if the one that don't hit was 1 point away from hitting. Trust me, that will drive you. This right here, missing these steps, that will make sure your parlay don't hit. The next thing you want to think about is it keeps no record of being wrong. So that means you don't want to keep throwing up in her face what she didn't do. Well, I mean, you ain't never do this for me. I mean, last time you said that and you ain't did it. Listen, if you move like your parlay not gonna hit. Because why? You keeping a record of wrong. A woman gives you back what you give her. That's how this thing works. She gives you back what you give her. So if you give her love, if you give her kindness, if you give her gentleness, she's gonna give that back to you. But what she's not gonna give back to you is what you don't give her. So y'all share this live. Trust me, the men gonna be like, Lord, why I missed the parlay? Listen, we talking parlays tonight. I'm trying to help you score. I'm trying to help you win, sir. I'm trying to help you win. The next thing you want to do is it does not rejoice about injustice. So do not be the person that is a hypocrite. Do not be the person that's clapping for the downfall of other people. Whenever you move like that, that tells her that if you can treat somebody else like that, you're not going to be emotionally safe for her. And a lot of strong Black women, we struggle with perfectionism. And because we struggle with being perfect, oftentimes we will hide who we truly are because we are afraid of rejection. We are afraid of being hurt. We are afraid of exposure. We are afraid of guilt, blame, and shame. And so you won't get the authentic version of her because, quite honestly, she's watched how you've done and talks about other people. And because you move like that, and it's not that it was you, but if you move like that in front of her about somebody else's downfall, she knows that if she has a downfall, you're going to do the same thing to her. Now, granted, you may have never done it to her. It doesn't matter. In her mind, you will. And once your woman no longer feels emotionally safe with you, you can hang it up. So when you see the quote that says a woman leaves mentally before she leaves physically, this is that moment. Okay. So you don't want her to get to that moment. So making sure that the way you lead like love. And that's one of them. The other one is it rejoices whenever the truth wins out. So you want to, again, celebrate what you want repeated. If you want her honesty, celebrate it, babe. Thank you so much for sharing that. I am one of the first people to say all the time, thank you for sharing. You know why? Because I never want to feel like I'm entitled to your truth or I'm entitled to your vulnerability. Because the moment you become entitled, you start operating in pride. That is one of these things. Listen, that's one of them parlays. That's one of them. You thought Steph Curry was going to hit threes and he was going to get 5 assists and his tail got 3. I'm telling you, this is when you get drove if you're playing your hand right. I want to see you win, sir. I'm on your side. I like to see you happy. I want to see our men happy because I know when our men are happy, our women are covered. And so she's happy too. Nothing fulfills a woman more than knowing that her man is happy. Period. So I'm trying to help you win because I ain't have none of these cheat codes in my marriage. Now I have them, but I used to be whatever your wife is, I used to be. So that's why I'm telling you, that's why I know him so well. because they never versions, old versions of me. And no one gave me these kind of cheat codes on how to use the Bible to apply it to my own life. So now I can start operating in a way that is edifying, not just edifying to God, which is fulfilling for me. And it fulfills my relationships. This is what healthy relationships look like. This is the Bible in action. So this is a cheat code to your whole life. These are the things that I'm teaching and going to be talking about throughout our challenge, is how to get this going, because this saves everything. This is like this is the best 14, 15 leg parlay ever. 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Okay. Then we got to roll down to the next one. Love never gives up. It never loses faith. It's always hopeful, and it endures through every circumstance. This is key. Look, Mr. Benny said, amen. This is key. You got to be able to keep the faith, and great leaders are optimistic. If you find yourself being a pessimistic, negative leader, men, I'll tell you something. Your mindset, your mind affects your physical health, right? So your body don't tell your mind what to do. Your mind tells your body. This is a long-term game, because you done said I do to forever. This is life without parole. And either we can have fun, and this can be a everyday vacation, or this can be the federal penitentiary. You choose. And a lot of times the pieces that I see that's falling apart in our marriages, it's because we missing a hand. It goes back to certain things, the leadership issues. So a woman, again, if you married to the strong Black woman, I'll tell you right now, this is the cheat code. This is the cheat code. So you got to have these things. You gotta keep the faith. You have to remain hopeful, and you have to be able to endure through every circumstance. And so what does that look like? That looks like mental agility. People that are mentally agile are people that are always striving to be a better version of themselves. So as a man, where have you stopped being a better version of yourself? Because let me tell you, whether she a strong Black woman, an alpha woman, all these other little bit women, don't matter. Wherever you started lacking is where she's going to start lacking. Wherever you start lacking is where she's going to start lacking. So if you find yourself regressing and you're not trying to grow to the next level, I'm telling you now, it's going to be hard to keep. It's going to be hard to continue to lead her, because again, you got to have these 4 intimacies: intellectual, spiritual, emotional. That gets you physical. That equals to physical intimacy. So if you don't have the top 3, the top 3 trilogies, you ain't scoring. You're not, your parlays ain't hitting, your worship ain't going high. You're going to be sexually frustrated. You're going to be emotionally drained, because she's not going to have anything to give to you, because you haven't given that much to her. A woman is soil. She will grow whatever seed you place in her. So you got to decide, are you placing good seed, and is this in good ground? And a lot of times we think, well, I told her, I was having this conversation a couple of days ago with one of the husbands, and he was like, well, I told her my plan. I said, that's half the problem. You told her a plan that she wasn't a part of creating. Make that make sense. Listen, a lot of women, Black women in particular, a lot of Black Christian women in particular, they have to be a part of the plan. When you make plans without them, that will immediately trigger her abandonment trauma. It will make her feel like she does not matter. It'll make her feel like she is not important. It's going to give you hell. She going to have an attitude. She going to be coming home. She going to be getting to bed with that moo on. And again, your parlays not going to hit. You will not be getting the payout, and you are going to be drove, and you're going to be frustrated with her and trying to figure out, why am I getting this attitude from you? Sometimes we got to go back to the leadership. So one of the things that I teach when I'm coaching and I'm working with couples, especially 2025, this is going to be our focus. I'm going to teach you how to create systems that solve your problem. Your partner is not always your problem. A lot of times, it's not your partner that's the problem, it's your system. You don't have a good system. And how you get into the space of just a roommate is because you routinely do things, and routines are based off individual actions. Systems are based off of team actions. And so systems encompass the entire thing. It looks at what everyone needs to thrive. When you look at just a routine by itself is not strong enough. So that song by Neo, I'm a movement by myself, but I'm a force when we're together. A movement is a routine. A force is a system. A system encompasses a routine, but a routine without a system doesn't work. And that is why you start to get emotionally, intellectually, and spiritually separated from your partner because you're not depositing in these buckets. So again, you cannot expect a return on an investment you never made. So she has to see you. What are you reading? The things that, how is your day? Are you just like, oh, it's good? No, she needs to understand. Are you accounting for her? How many questions do you ask her a day to understand her? How curious are you? And see, when you playing with parlays, okay, there's a strategy. Let me give you some quick strategy tips for those of y'all who enjoy a good football gambling time. Okay. I don't support gambling, but if you like to do it for fun like me, do your thing. Whatever. I ain't here to judge you. But you think about strategy, right? So if you know that, for example, you got, I don't know, Miami Dolphins playing the New York Jets, and they playing in New York. If we know that Miami normally is a team that throws the ball a lot, right? But they don't really play that well in the snow. Why? Because they live in a state that the weather is 75 and 80 degrees majority of the time. Their weather's not -3 and 15 like it is in New York this time of year. So you shouldn't be betting that they're going to be doing a whole bunch of throwing. They're going to be doing a whole bunch of running and rushing yards. Why? Because they're in a weather climate that they're not typically in. Right? So when you think about placing your bet, you're gonna want to place maybe a higher bet on your rushing yards than your receiving yards. Because again, the likelihood of them throwing because of the weather climate alone, it's not as likely. So think about the same thing with your marriage, with your partner in this relationship. If you don't invest in her and you don't understand the climate, what's happening right now, is she more likely to throw the ball or run the ball? You will mess around and bet on her like if she's in Miami with 80-degree weather where they throw all the time because the weather's so nice. They ain't got to worry about it. You missed the bet because you didn't understand the climate. It's the same logic. This is why men love coaching with me, because I speak in logical format. And so when you think about your logic on this stuff, it goes back to your system. How do you systematically make your decisions? If you know that the last couple of days she's been complaining about, I don't know, her job, right? And you've identified that she keeps saying every Friday, we don't ever go nowhere. You going out with your friends? Are you watching TV? Are you playing on your phone? When was the last time we went somewhere? And you're like, oh, we always go somewhere, but you ain't got it on no calendar. You ain't tracking it. You ain't got no system. You're not following a rule. So guess what? She don't know when it's going to happen. So now she's sitting in anticipation like you do when you place them bets, okay, hoping you going to score. She coming home hoping that she going to score. You going to be waiting on her. You have some flowers, some dinner. You going to tell her, put on your red dress. We going somewhere. And when you come home and you don't do nothing, but take your clothes off and lay down and see what she feel like eating and see if she gonna fix your plate. Let me tell you something, sir. The parlay is not hitting. Baby. That's given you're not gonna score. Why? Because you don't have a system. a lot of times when she's complaining about the lack of time, just for example, the lack of time that you guys spend is because there's no routine in it. So like there's this rule that I teach, it's called the 222 rule. I'll be teaching that 2025 as well in teaching you how to create a system that solves the problem and not fix it, and it doesn't have to fix your partner. Because again, it's not that y'all are broken, you just ain't got a good system on how to get success. So the 222 rule, it states this: every 2 weeks we go on a date, every 2 months we go on vacation, a weekend getaway, and then every 2 years we go somewhere for a week. Again, I'm running this to you again. I'm giving you the play, okay, so you can win. This is the 222, and I think the lady who created this, I know her name is Dr. Laura, I think it's Pearson. It doesn't matter. Look this rule up. 222. So every 2 weeks, you take her out on a date night. Now, granted, women, let me go and get you real quick because you're gonna be able to look at him. I mean, Lauren talk about the 222. I mean, well, you gonna take me out, ma'am. This is a shared partnership. Okay. That means he gonna choose a week. You gonna do a week. He gonna do a weekend getaway every 2 months. You gonna plan one. He gonna plan a week. We going somewhere on vacation from these kids and these bills and this life. And then every 2 years, you gonna plan one. This is a shared partnership. Because a lot of times as women, we sit there, we done sat there and complain, we done sat there and pouted, we done had a funky attitude, and we waiting to see what he gonna do. Ma'am, listen. You have to act in the success of the team too. He can't carry you by himself. He already tired. He been carrying your little funky attitude. He been carrying, not telling you stop coming to bed with that stupid moo-moo on. He's sick of that, okay? Just telling you to play. So you can't expect him to do everything while you do nothing or the bare minimum. And then when he ain't meeting whatever expectation you done set and didn't communicate, it only sat in your brain and you ain't said out your mouth, and then you mad and you trying to holler at me about it. No. That's not what we giving. If you want this to work, it takes 2 to make it go right, and it takes 2 to make it go wrong. So if you ain't pulling your weight, that's on you. That's your leadership issue, and you ain't leading you well. Okay, so I'm trying to help you out so you can win. Listen, because you know if he hit a parlay, that's your money. Y'all can go on vacation. Y'all can do whatever. So what does this stuff look like? It looks like give and take. It looks like being intentional and enjoying some of the things that he enjoyed. If you know he enjoyed watching the game, sit there and watch the game with him. It ain't gonna kill you. If you know she enjoys I don't know, walking in the park or going to these girly type of movies, like whatever her thing is, it's not gonna kill you to do it with her. You said I do to her. So like, what made you think it was one and done? It's not one and done. And what do you do when your parlay lose? You either decide you're going to put in a different parlay, you're going to do a different strategy, you're going to think about, okay, why I didn't win last time? Maybe because I had too many legs on there, which made it too risky, and it done killed my whole hand. You find a different strategy. You pivot. And a lot of times for men, sometimes men don't like to pivot. But that's why you're not growing, because you're not pivoting. So you got to be able to pivot as the leader. You got to be able to create structure for her. A woman needs that. So understanding your players, man, you the quarterback. You got to understand the team. You got to know what her strengths are. If you know that she gonna rush the ball in, if you give it to her because she a bulldozer type of personality, then you know when it's time to let her do her rushing yards. If you know that your wife is more of a receiver, you throw the ball down left field, she gonna catch it, then put her in position for that. It's all strategy. As I tell people all the time, it's not that your marriage can't work, it's that your system sucks and you don't have a system. And then you don't have a way of managing it. So if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. That's why I love putting my clients know. When you work with me, you gonna get a system. One of yours, you're going to have a system, you're going to have software, and you're going to have support. These are the 3 S's we solving for. So, system, software, support, period. So System is what needs to happen in order to make everybody's life work. Software is what we're using. Google Calendar, one of my favorites. I will send a calendar invite on you in a minute. Why? Because Google Calendar gives you analytics. You need data. So for these women, let me help y'all out. It took me 10 years and a divorce to understand this one. Men speak in data. They're logical, so they look for data. So all the emotional things you be trying to give as your answer and it don't be landing well, he doesn't process like that. And what his heart is hearing is he ain't good enough. You still don't like this. All he's hearing is nagging. He's not hearing instruction, just FYI. Men understand data. So when you say, hey, I looked at our calendar and it looks like, on average this month we spent, I don't know, 8 hours total alone. Did we meet the goal? Like, babe, I know you say we do stuff all the time, but quite honestly, the last time you took me out on a date was 3 months ago. Now, I planned a date for us on this date. Why? Because you got a calendar invite. And man, let me tell you why you going to want the calendar invite. Because if you married to a strong-willed Black woman, she keep receipts, baby. She going to remember it. She going to remember every time you thought about doing wrong, okay? So she keeps receipts like you would never believe. So when you send a calendar invite, there goes accountability. You see when she accepted it, it's on y'all calendar. It's got a reminder. Everybody knows what's going on. So when she tell you we ain't spending time, what the calendar say? Nah, let me go pull analytics for the month. Yeah, we did. This how many hours we spent. Why? Because now that dismisses the feeling that probably ain't a fact that we ain't spending time. And then you can get her to be honest and just say, baby, right now, I just feel very overwhelmed. I have a lot going on. And I really just need a hug. I just feel like I just need some time with you or a getaway time, or I've just been really stressed. That makes her give you the truth. Okay, sir, I'm trying to give you the cheat code. Because trust me, she gonna yell, wolf. I call it wolfing. She gonna wolf, yell, and complain when you ain't got no data. And when you ain't got no data to stand on, especially if you were the argumentative type, because we argumentative, I ain't gonna lie, we are. You were one of them kind, you better have some evidence, because she gonna have something to send your tail straight to jail. Okay, so you gotta have your own. So that's why I like about, again, the software. Find the software that supports the system, that provides support. And then who do you need on the team to help support? If y'all got kids and your kids are young, okay, do y'all have at least 3 babysitters in a rotation that you can call on? If you know she be tired of cleaning the house, but she still like the house clean because acts of service is the top of her love language, okay, do you have a cleaning lady that can come at least once a month to make her feel happy, because you know that she thrives in clarity? It's not going to kill you. Again, these are systems that will solve the biggest problem you have in your marriage. But if you don't have a system, you got a lot of chaos. And that becomes a leadership issue, because the goal is this, and I'll end it right here for you. Let's go to Adam. The snake knew that he didn't have to sell to Adam with that apple, but when he saw that Adam was no longer leading Eve, when Adam and Eve was walking in that garden, God told them where not to go, what tree not to touch, right? Eve wasn't there. So that means Eve was told secondhand information. Now, you know exactly how your wife is. You married the one who got some trust issues. She's Eve, okay? Now, notice, Eve walking, smiling, cool of the day, whatever. She ain't never said to Adam, you think God lying? She ain't saying nothing. But she secretly, the enemy knew, I'm telling you, his business is amazing. He knew that all he had to do, if they was walking in the vicinity, that there was already curiosity. There was an opportunity for curiosity, right? So pay attention to this, man. I want you to win. This is going to help you parlays. You're going to win. You're going to score. This is a no sweat bet. Okay. So they walk in the cool of the day. They walking over there. Adam just happy he ain't by himself no more. Why? The New Living Translation said when he woke up and realized he had Eve, the first thing he said was at last. That means what took her so long? I'm glad you're here. And he said, I'm going to name my woman, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. He was happy. He took ownership of her immediately. God didn't even have to introduce, like, hey, this is your new bae. God didn't do that. He didn't even have to. So the enemy already knew that he was already idolizing the new gift he just got. So he never hollered at Adam. Pay attention. He hollered at Eve, but he knew that he could get her to sell his desire, sell his product because of what? The know you, like you, trust you factor. When somebody knows you, when they like you, and when they trust you, they will buy from you. They will do a favor for you. They will give you money. Okay. He realized that. Pay attention to this story, how he played this game, because if you just play it right, you could score too. Clearly it worked. Okay. So he knew that. So here goes the issue. Adam was outside of his window tolerance of paying attention to leadership. Because if he was leading her, he would have been like, hey, let's turn around. Let's not go that far. You know why? If you've been to Bayou Classic, or if you haven't, you're going to find out now. In New Orleans, every year for Bayou Classic, rain, sleet, or snow. After the game for Bayou Classic, if you go down Bourbon Street, they're going to be shooting. Every year. Now, they may not be shooting for the Sugar Bowl. They may not shoot on Bourbon for Mardi Gras, but it's something about when you got black people and it's Bayou Classic, they're going to shoot on Bourbon Street every year. Okay? So if you know that they're going to shoot on Bourbon Street every year and you leading, she walking, want to get a hand grenade, happy, walking around. You ain't about to take her tail down there after no Bayou Classic game at 11 o'clock at night. You know why? Because you know that your knee's bad. She can't run that fast. You're going to get trampled over. You're probably going to be running from bullets. You're not going to go. You're going to say, baby, we should have did that a little earlier in the day. We can't, we may get shot. That's what leadership does. That's what leadership does. That's what a great leader does. But did Adam do that? No. Adam followed on with her and pay attention to the snake. He wasn't rude. He was patient and he was kind. Okay? He was in 1 Corinthians chapter 13 too. That's how he sold her. He asked her a question, accounting, made her feel comfortable because he asked her a question. He wasn't rude and said, why your stupid tail over here by the tree? That's not what he did. He asked her a question. He made her start thinking. She felt accounted for. She gave a whole answer. She repeated everything Adam told her that God said about why they ain't supposed to eat from the tree of good and evil. And then he said, surely God didn't say that. He used a whole security word. Why? Because most women struggle with insecurity. So he used a word that made her feel secure and made her feel like this could work. Surely that's not what he said. And then what happened? She ate it. Free download. Free. She bought the freebie. And he, again, go read your Bible. I read this 1,000,001 times. He sold her. It didn't even take him long. And then she sold it to Adam. The snake never shot his shot at Adam. Why? Because he knew Adam had been with God. He knew that Adam was the one. Adam was the decision maker. So when we talk about understanding your customer, for my business owner people, when we talking about understanding your person, for my people that's in a marriage, in a relationship, you got to understand your person. He understood if you in the vicinity of, you're more than likely curious. If I allow her to eat it and you already trust her because you feel like she's one with you, then you're going to feel safe to do it too. And that's exactly what happened. So guess what, men? What would have happened had Adam been in his leadership role and been protecting? We ain't placing blame. We just reviewing the story. This is why his parlays did not hit. He had a good hand. He was about to score. Steph Curry was doing a great job on the NBA. You had a 50% profit boost. You felt like LeBron was going to act right. LeBron normally do a good 18, 20 points. And what his tail did, he did 13 points and not a game over. And everybody else that had their assist, it worked out, and now you ain't scoring. Don't be Adam with that. It's always a leadership. A woman will follow. She will follow how you lead. That's why I realized when working with couples and working with Black men specifically in leadership, my goal is to teach you how to lead well. I ain't gonna never teach you how to be a man because I ain't one, but I can tell you how to lead a strong Black woman. I can tell you that because I'm one, and I know what that is like. But one with balance, a refurbished one, a healed one, who got some sense, who can help you out, who can make sure your hand win it, who can make sure you're scoring. So this is a real thing. So when you start getting irritated with her about things she's doing and you don't like it, check to see how much you do. How much of what she does mimics what you do. Because that's what happens when you become one. When you connect the oneness piece, she starts stunting like her daddy. You. So if you don't like it, then you got to start looking at what areas have I fallen off in those 3 areas. Intellectually, am I stimulating her? Am I teaching her things? Am I reading? Am I women love knowledge, especially the alpha personalities. We love knowledge. Teach me is a love language. Show me is a love language for us. When you're not teaching us anything, we feel like you're wasting our time and we might as well go learn something somewhere else. I'm just telling you the truth. So if you're not teaching her something, if you're not being emotionally safe with her or for her, that's gonna be a reason your parlay is not gonna hit. And if you are not covering her, praying with her at night, pray with her. You should be able to pray with your partner. If you can lay with her, what you mean you can't pray with her? Like, that don't make sense. If you can lay with her and you expect to have a great night in your physical intimacy, that first happens, all of that happens outside of the bedroom. So trust me, if you have not joined my challenge, you're going to want to click the link in my bio and join that marriage challenge. You're going to want to be on my email list because these are the type of conversations we have when you work with me. I will have taught you how to have a system, how to have support, how to have software, and basically how to manage your house like a Fortune 500 company so you can have a long-lasting legacy. The reason Black couples our race as a whole is on track to have a zero net worth by 2053 is because we struggle with partnerships. If you look at other races and why they have so much wealth, it's because they're married and they're married with a person that they partnered with who has their weaknesses as their strength. That's why they hire for their heart people that are better than them in areas they're only good at. And it's leadership. Where there's no vision, the people perish. Where there's no vision in your household for where we're going this year, you should have a strategic plan for your marriage this year. If you don't have a strategic plan for your marriage this year, prepare to look like last year when y'all was struggling emotionally, struggling financially, struggling spiritually, struggling emotionally, and struggling sexually. Prepare for that because that's all you're going to have because you have not planned well. Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision and make it plain so men that read it can run. Why? Because the vision is in your mind. She can't read your mind, but she can read a plan. So what have you written? And if you're not good at writing the plan, write it with her anyway. Write it with her anyway. That's great leadership. Great leaders include people around their table. You got to start checking who is in your circle. You got to start checking who is on your board of director, because the people that are on your board of director are the people that are directing your life. Because whatever they listen to, that toxic love, and I don't need to tell my wife this, I ain't account for her. That is stupid. And quite honestly, that's why we're impoverished. Black couples are divorcing at the highest rate, not marrying at the highest rate, divorcing at the highest rate, and we're not remarrying at the highest rate. So, quite honestly, the reason Black people are behind is because our partnerships suck, which means our leadership isn't good because we don't have a system. Every great company that's ever been bought and sold is because they had a great system. So, what does the system of your home look like? That's what I'm going to help you do. I'm going to teach you how to have a great system. And the things you learn in the Oneness Institute, working with my team, being a part of our marriage challenge, these things you can take and you can flip into business. You can identify why God brought y'all together and why y'all were supposed to solve this problem. And then y'all can create the business that creates financial wealth and break you out of this generational curse mindset that we're in. I'm tired of us being in a poverty mindset, but we're in a poverty scarcity mindset because our partnerships are struggling because we don't have a system. We don't have a system. We don't have software, and we ain't got no support. We're trying to be hyper independent, doing it all by ourselves. We're trying to pretend like we're a power couple when we really like a power outage. And quite frankly, we're not thriving. And our Black men are dying earlier and earlier because their mental health is affecting their physical health and they having heart attacks. Why? Because it's a heart issue. And when love is struggling, life is too. So I hope you score, man. I want to see. This is why I love coaching, love coaching couples. This is why I love coaching men, because this is when rubber meets the road and all the light bulbs start going off. Because again, it's not about you the problem or she the problem. The system is the problem. I'm telling you, if you fix the system, it will fix the issues that you have in your marriage. But if you don't fix the system, that marriage is not going to make it, or it's going to barely make it. And all we're going to be left with is traumatized children who are going to create the same trauma and chaos you created. That's what we're up against. So if you want to see wealth in your home, peace in your home, happiness in your home, go ahead and hit my line. Join the challenge. Take the 5-day challenge. Let it be a jump start to your marriage, man. Let it be a jump start to your relationship. Because I'm telling you, this information, this content that I'm putting out, I've spent years studying this stuff. I believe Bible, but I also believe science. And I also believe business. And I know for a fact, if your foundation is not strong, the structure will not last. If your foundation is not strong, the structure will not last. I'm trying to help you make it last. So I wasn't even planning to go live tonight. I'm getting prepared for our prayer call tomorrow morning. For our women, I do a prayer call Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. Central Standard Time, 6 a.m. Eastern. And our call is called Becoming a Better Me. And it's a powerful way for us to start our morning as women, and with a community of women that really love God, and they love God for real. And so a lot of this coaching and teaching that you got tonight, they get on the calls. So listen, iron sharpens iron, man. And we got to start doing better with our relationships, with our marriages. Because listen, I want to see your parlays hit. Okay, I want to see you get a profit boost. I want to see your payout going up. Okay, I want to see you score, sir. So if you know that you married to one of us strong-minded Black women, try to scratch my face, and you trying to love us, but you don't know, I'm your cheat code. I'm what you've been waiting for all your life. So definitely tap in with me. Let me know if this blessed you. Share the live. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Those that are catching us on YouTube tonight, man, subscribe, like, comment, share. Let's spread the word. Because listen, we only got 28 years to 2053 for us to be at a negative zero net worth. And as Black people, man, our lives shouldn't look like that. We're some of the most creative beings there is, but we don't always know it. So I pray this bless you, and I'll holler at you soon. Peace. See you in the challenge. Good night.